Okay, so just one recommendation here is nice patience. You take the boost. Okay, you're clearly gonna beat this guy to the ball. Okay, and
Yep.
even if you're not sure, I recommend like the maximum, especially in the corners, is you single jump into it only, because when you flip, you lose control of the ball as well as the car. So you see here, as soon as you flipped, boom, right? Keep in mind that when you flip into the ball, you put power into it, correct?
Yep.
And the more power you keep, the farther and further away it goes from you. It makes sense, right? You put power, it goes far away from you. But keep in mind that by putting more power into it, you also lose control of the ball. So that's why I recommend you do two things. You have two options here, okay? So option
Yep.
number one is you either drive straight, you just hit it driving, because since look, it's very close to the wall anyways, it's very close, so you can just drive into it. Or if you're scared this guy's gonna dunk you or he's gonna block you, then you can single jump as well, no issues. It will, if you single jump, it will, you will still need some boost to recover, but it will be much easier to recover when compared to flipping, because when you flip you have to throw your momentum to the direction you're flipping.
Okay.
A nice cut there, beautiful. Nice landing on the shot. But what I recommend here, I don't mind, right? You try to apply pressure. You know your teammate got demoed, so he's gonna be behind you 100%. So here as first man, no problem. You can go for it. But what I would recommend is try to aim for the backboard, so it ends as a
Yep.
pass. If you're confident that you can shoot, then shoot. No, I have no issues with at all. Or you have another option is you can drive down the ramp and let gravity bring the ball down. You can catch it on top of your car and then you can go for a flick. Whatever suits your play style, it's up to you. I'm just letting you know that you have way more options than you think. Like a lot of players think they're restricted because they're on a wall or they're on a ceiling, but not really. You just have to be just a few seconds. You have to be patient, and since you can clearly see in front of you, right? So you can tell that there is nobody in front of you, like there are no opponents in front of you. So it's an indicator that you have time. You can do whatever you want. But it's okay since you're first man here. It's okay. The whole point of first man is to hit it outfield and force the opponents to make mistakes. There we go. It's a beautiful, beautiful block by your teammate. But again, very risky here. Why? Because for example, let's say your teammate loses this, right? So your teammate here is last man, okay? So the general rule for last man is you do not go for a ball unless you're 100% sure you're going to win, okay? So this is still a pretty high rank, C1 is still like hard to achieve. So for example, if he was, I would say, C3 GC1, there's no way he will hit this ball, right? This guy would just hit it towards the corner, right? And even
Yep.
you here, you still, just now you started recovering. So if this guy ends up going, your teammate, and ends up losing it, it will either turn into a 2v1 or a 2v0, because your teammate here does not know how much boost you have, right? So again, very risky, but ends up getting the goal regardless. There we go. Just keep in mind that in the higher ranks, they will punish you for this minor overcommits. Okay, so what I would recommend here is the sooner you start it, the better, okay? So what I would say is start learning how to do fast kickoffs, okay? I'm not saying speed kickoff, not speed flip, just a normal one, okay? Because in C3 and above, if you do not have a fast kickoff, you will lose the kickoff every single time, whether you like it or
Okay.
not. No matter if you try to wave dash the kickoff or if you try to delay it, maybe, but you will lose, especially if you're playing 1v1 or 2v2. So the higher the rank you go, the more crucial kickoffs become, okay? So the correct way to do a kickoff, FYI, okay? So what you do is up to you. You either turn your car a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, and then you diagonal flip okay, and then you side flip. A lot of people think that you can front flip. You can do that as a starter, but it's not the correct way. The correct way is a diagonal flip and then a side flip. Depending on where you want to hit the ball, you side flip to the left if you want to put it on the right, and vice versa. You side flip to the right if you want to put the ball left, okay? And then you can also side flip central if you want to win the ball in a certain direction. But that's a little bit more advanced. Just try to focus on it long term, because the sooner you start kickoffs, the better, right? Because I've seen people who have reached GC, for example, not having a good kickoff, and they end up giving away so many free goals because they don't have a good kickoff. So again, just keep in mind that the fast kickoff is not a speed kickoff. That's with a speed flip. Just a fast kickoff. The basic kickoff is a diagonal flip and then a side flip.
Okay.
So I'll switch to your teammate's perspective. The same point I mentioned before is, you see, when you flip, he has zero boost. You see, he flipped. Even though if he hit this ball, he didn't end up hitting it. But you see how he lost full control of his car.
Yeah.
And because he flipped, he lost momentum, speed, and he has no boost. So it will take him extra 4 or 5 seconds just to get back.
Okay.
So here as well, okay, you don't know how much boost your teammate has. You can clearly see your teammate is very awkward in the backboard, okay? So anytime I try to break down replay analysis, I'm doing it as if you guys are not in Discord or you guys are not talking to each other. So what I want you to do is start developing the habit of looking at your teammates and opponents' cards, okay, before you decide to go for a challenge, okay? So try to collect as much information as you can before you go for a ball, okay? You can by like seeing, right, by looking at the opponent's cards and your teammate's card, you can make the proper decision whether to challenge the ball, whether fake the challenge, whether rush the challenge, whether shadow, etc. So here, for example, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Obviously, in game it's much faster, but here, for example, okay, you have decent amount of boost, okay? You have no idea where how much boost your teammate has, but he still has not rotated behind you. He still needs like 3-4 seconds to start to get fully behind you. So here now you need to go to the last man rule. Okay, so here you're last man. So what's the rule for last man is you do not go for a ball unless you're 100% sure you're going to win. Why? Because if this ball ends up going over your head or you lose the 50-50, you're the last man. There's nobody behind to support you, right? There's a high chance it's gonna end up being a goal, okay? So it's a high risk challenge to go for. If you're sure you're going to beat this guy or 50-50 really well, then be my guest, go for it. But you can clearly see this guy is supersonic, your opponent, because of the trails, right? This is supersonic. You don't know how much boost he has. He is much more closer to the ball than you are, right? Here's a small tip. Do you see the white circle underneath the ball?
Yep.
You can use that as a distance judger. You can clearly see who's closer to the ball, right? By using the circle. Rather than looking at the ball, you can look at the circle below. You can clearly tell distance-wise. It becomes much more clearer and much more easier to see who can hit this ball first.
Okay.
Okay, so here he took your boost. So here you have two options, okay? So here you don't really have boost. So it's very risky for you to hit it across, right? Because either you will hit it perfectly into your own corner, okay? Or you will center it for your opponents, okay? So what I recommend, if you have zero boost, fake the hit. What do I mean by fake the hit? So I'm gonna zoom out here a little bit, okay? So I understand that you're afraid this guy is gonna hit it, right? So that's why you want to hit it before he hits it, okay? I understand why you want to hit it to prevent the pass. But either way, you're gonna end up passing it anyways. So what I recommend is drive down the ramp, okay? it ends up as a fake because this guy Arts might think that you want to hit this, right? But if you drive down the ramp, right, the gravity is going to bring the ball down, and then you can carry on from there, whether 50-50, whether you relieve the ball and then your teammate will come by after he picks up the boost and help you out. There is many options, right? But try not to center it for the opponents, right? Very risky. Nice save. Oh, that's a good pass there. So an unfortunate double commit here. Okay, so my recommendation here is I don't mind that you went, but my only issue is you braked a little bit too far. So what I would recommend is you should have went up to the back post. Okay, you should have lined your car up here to the back post, and then you should have went for the save. But you just you hit the brakes a little bit back, so that forced your teammate to go for this ball, and also it made it a little bit difficult for you to save this ball.
Right.
There we go. That's a very good pass by them. There we go. Nice shot. Close hit. Like again, one thing I notice always in the lower ranks, you see, if you focus on how the play develops, you see everybody's just hitting the ball, everybody just throwing it away. You see, he threw it, right? Unfortunate mechanical error, and then you see your teammate has so much time. There is no need for him to hit this, okay? And then here is you go for a 50-50, fair enough, okay? Same thing here. But then look at how much time the opponents have. Okay, so look at their perspective. He has so much time. He can control, go for a flick, control, go for a bump, control, go for a pass. He has so many options, but he limits himself by immediately shooting. Right. So if you can, in many situations, if you can take your time a little bit more and control the ball, it will help you long term. Because see, I'm gonna switch back to your perspective here, and the opponent's through the wall. And then your teammate here, again, he has time. There is no need. Again, he flips into it. Here you go for a 50-50. Here he misses. Same pointer here as before. So anytime you go for a 50, try to single jump into it. If you're in a defensive position. Why? Because remember when I said when you flip into the ball, you put a lot of power into it?
Yep.
So now both you and your opponent, both of you guys are flipping, correct? So that means that's double the power, okay? So the more power is into the ball, right? The stronger the resulting challenge will be, correct? So the same thing you can apply. So the more power you guys, you and your opponent put into the ball, the stronger the bounce will be, okay? So don't get me wrong. If you single jump into it, it will still go in the same direction, but the bounce will be much softer. So rather than it being so strong like this, you see how high it popped up is essentially a pass for the opponents. So what I recommend is single jump into it, so you absorb some of the power. It will still go in the same direction, but rather than it bouncing like this, it will bounce somewhat like this, right? Or it will bounce slowly towards your own teammates. So always try to keep this in mind. Ends up missing anyways. Nice bump. Nice shot. Nice shot, there we go. Unfortunate. Okay, so here my recommendation, other than what I said regarding the kickoff, what I recommend is for your teammate. So, for example, if you find yourself in a position similar to your teammate, so his mistake was flipping here, okay? Why? Because when he flipped, you see, look how far he landed away, because he flipped into it. If he just drove normally without flipping, let's say just driving normally, okay? up until he takes the boost. As soon as he sees that you lost the challenge, he can easily turn towards the net, right? If the ball ends up going to their field, he can easily turn around like this and go. But because he flipped, he ended up going too forward. And now it becomes much more difficult to save the ball. I'm gonna pass. Nice shot, but again, keep in mind that in the higher ranks, this will not work. Okay, so again here you did very well. You did not flip. You just drove into it, so it was much easier for you because you hit it with rather than flipping. You drove into it, so you're able to follow up your own touch. But what I would recommend is you hit it without boosting into it. Right? It's okay. You can go supersonic. It's okay, but as soon as you boost into it, you put more power into it. Right? So in the higher ranks, as soon as they see you hit the ball, immediately they will intercept. They will not even wait for you. But nice follow-up regardless. So always try to get soft touches. By soft touches, I mean a touch, essentially, you can follow up. So you touch it softly and then you can go for 50-50. You touch it softly, you go for a flick. You touch it softly, you go for a pass. It can be whatever you want.
Right.
Again, you see, there is time, but flipping, everybody's flipping into it. So the opponents flip number one. Your opponent flip number two. I understand he wanted to shoot, but still, there was an opponent in the back post. Well, I don't know if that was intentional demo. Unfortunate there. Yeah, unfortunate. I don't really blame you. That demo was unexpected. Yeah. So what I recommend here for you is, okay, you're planning to go. As soon as you see he got demoed, make up your decision. Okay, make up your decision that you're gonna either go or you're gonna challenge. Okay, so you made a decision you're gonna challenge, but the only mistake you did was you turned the wrong side. Okay, so anytime you want to turn, whether that's defensively or offensively, right, you should turn with your back facing the net rather than your back facing away from the net, if that makes sense. Okay, so
Yeah.
rather than rotating far, like your back will not be facing, you will not be covering the net essentially on this side. When compared, if you rotated this side, it will be much easier for you to either shadow or challenge. Your teammate tries to save it, unfortunately. Again, no need to flip. So very nice read here off the wall. What I recommend, single jump, perfect, right? Nice single jump. Hit it to your own corner, no problem. You could hit it upfield, but it's risky because it could act as a pass. So rather than flipping into it forward, don't flip into it into the corner because it could just bounce and act as a pass anyways. So you can double jump or single jump, up to you, and then just hit it towards your own corner lightly so you can follow it up. Hands up again, you see the opponent also flipped. So you gave him the ball for free, he gave you the ball for free. Nice boom there. Again, you had the option. I don't mind that you boomed, right? But you had the option of controlling this ball, right? And going for a flick, going for a pass, your teammate going for a bump. There's many options. So try to always switch it up. So what I do usually in the higher ranks is I usually go for flicks and I go for passes, but then sometimes I just boom it. It works. Why? Because for example, at the beginning of the game, I always flick. I always take my time, and then like for example, the remaining half, I just go super aggressive. I change up my play style completely. So you should always try to be as unpredictable as possible. Try to change how you play. Why? Because you will keep your opponents guessing. They will not know what you will do next, whether you will pass, whether you will go for a flick, whether you will boom. So they will just crap their pants essentially. Again, the opponent had time there. There's no need for him to flip there. Same thing with your teammate. That's a nice boom. But again, they could have controlled it. That's a nice clear. You're kind of forced to clear it there. Same recommendation here. No need for your teammate to flip. He ends up giving it away. There we go, it's an open net. Oh my god, your teammate flew to Mars. What is this? Oi. Alright. So nice speed there. There we go, nice goal. Okay. What I recommend here is you go, you get boost. Just for 1 second, you don't need for too long. For 1 second, switch from ball camp to car camp. Okay? Look who's in front of you. You can see he's going for boost and the opponent is facing the wrong way anyways. Okay? So clearly you can tell that nobody's gonna challenge you and you can go for whatever you want to go.
Yeah.
But keep it, because in the higher ranks they will not give you the time, right? Here you had 3-4 seconds. In the higher ranks they will immediately challenge you. They will not give you a single second. And a very nice first touch. End up missing, and there we go, nice double. Very close. So there, I like how you switched from ball cam, ball cam to car cam to see where your goal is, right? But again, very risky. Why? You should never change, right? When the ball is coming towards you, right? Right here, you should not change. Why? Because you have no idea what this guy is gonna do yet. Okay? If this guy goes to the boost, then no problem. You can switch. Okay? Because here, when you switch like this, and when you switch back, now it's like, oh my god, where the hell did he come from? Right? It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. Just comes out of nowhere, right? Just surprises you. So again, be very careful. He ends up missing, ends up throwing it away. A little bit unfortunate. So here, if he ends up missing, again, if you're afraid it's gonna go over your head, you can single jump into it rather than flip. There you go, nice. You see how you didn't flip there on the wall? You just drove normally, you didn't do anything, you were just in the proper position. And the opponents not only gave it away, but you're able to quickly recover. Okay, so this is something I see in all ranks. It's very, very minor, okay? So here, look at where your momentum of your car is facing. It's facing this way, right? So, if we go forward here, you do a sharp 180 turn. So you're facing like this, and then you turned like this. Wait, let me put it more central. So your momentum was like this, and then you turned it like this. So you see, you canceled out your own momentum, right? Your initially you were facing this way, and now you power drifted, or you power slided or drifted this way. So what this does is it's like you hit the brakes. So you lose all your speed and you lose all your momentum, and you have to use around typically 50-60 boosts just to catch up to your own speed. Okay, so what I would have recommended here, okay, your teammate loses this ball. Okay, what I recommend here for you to do is go to the back post. Okay, so now since the ball is on the right side of the field, the back post is on the left. So let me switch cams here so I explain what I mean. So right here, okay. So the ball is on this side, right? On the right side.
Yep.
So this is the back post right here. So you should start going here, and it's okay. You can hit the brakes here. When you're on the back post, you can essentially, you have the whole net covered. You can save almost any shot. And it's okay. Okay, you didn't go to the back post, no problem. You're still in a good position. Same thing as I mentioned before is try to turn towards the net rather than away from it. Okay? Always try to turn towards it. So here you turn away, right? Which keeps you at a risk. For example, if they shoot it to the far corner here, there is no way you will save it. If they shoot it here, or essentially anywhere on this side, it will be very, very tough because look how far you are from the back post, right? Look how far you are. So again, very, very minute detail. Then I'm messing it up. Nice patience. No problem, it happens. There we go, nice clean rotation. Yeah, nice soft touch. Very nice, there we go. Ended up missing it. But you see, you were able to touch it softly, right? You didn't flip into it. He flipped and he gave it away. One soft touch. Two. And then you boomed it at the end. There we go. Nothing fancy, just fundamentals. There we go, nice. Very well done. You checked before you went for the boost. It's okay, you have a teammate behind you. Very nice patience. I think your teammate went for a pass there. It's okay. There we go, nice attempt on the fakes. Just one pointer here, be careful. This is very nice, very nice. So you see how here you need to be very careful. Why? Because you need to always place your car behind the ball, and your car must face towards the net. Because for example, if the opponent's challenge you can't see from this direction, right? If the opponent challenges you from this direction, it's an open net. Okay, so I understand you want to go for a bounce dribble, but try to keep it as tight as possible. So rather than being here and then going for like a touch, be here and then go for a touch. Okay, so try to stay close to the ball, because if I switch to the opponent's perspective, I know nobody's close. Okay, he got demoed. But you see how if there was an opponent here, for example, just an open net. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Always try to cover the side of the net. Because I see a lot of people, they're like, oh, they're rushing the ball, they're ball chasing. But the only reason ball chasing works is because there is no hesitation. They just go for the ball, and any minute mistake you make, they immediately punish it. Very nice dribble there. There go, nice clear. There go, nice touch. Very nice follow up. Same thing. You see how you here. I would have preferred a softer touch, but it's okay. Very, very well done. You do not flip. Nice touch, and then you're able to easily follow up. Nice idea on the demo. Nice rotation here, but what I would recommend is, for example, let's say you want to go for this boost, okay? For example, there is no boost, start rotating back post, okay? So your teammate will cover the front and you will cover behind him. Why? So I will show you now. For example, many things can go wrong here, right? The opponents might shoot this backboard and then it will come as a pass, and you will be nowhere near it because you rotated front post or into the middle of the goal. Okay, so here what I recommend, go back post. So here, for example, the opponent could, for example, let's say your teammate goes high, right? The opponent could pass it low, and okay, if they pass it low, you might be able to save it, no issue, since you're front post. But if they go, for example, backboard and then pass, it will be tough for you to save. Or for example, let's say they hit it not super high, your teammate, there's a chance your teammate can miss the ball, right? So always try to cover the worst possible, like worst case scenario. Very nice hit. Very nice single jump challenge. Close. They're gonna show. So there, I guess just the mispositioning from the opponents. Again, be very careful. with centering. Again, same recommendation. Don't hit the ball. It's okay. Just
Yeah.
drive over it, okay? Or drive under it and then like this, right? So come from under. So let me zoom out. So hopefully I will be able to show it better. Yeah, there we go. So you have two options here. You either drive over it and then come from above as this drops down, or you have the option of driver underneath and then turning and then let the ball dropping in front of you, and then you can take the ball and go for a 50-50 or whatever you want to do.
Right.
There's just many options you can do. Again, you have time there. No need to flip. Unfortunate there. Yeah, your teammate has an unfortunate touch. Don't worry, mechanical error. A nice back post rotation. Okay, so what I recommend here is if you're gonna rotate back post, stay back post, unless you don't have a teammate in front of you. So here you have a teammate in front of you, you go back post, let him go front post. Because I see a lot of times, for example, now you're in the middle of the post, correct? So I will make up a hypothetical that the opponents passed it perfectly into the midfield, right? If this upcoming player shoots it anywhere behind you, right, it also means he's shooting it behind your teammate. So if he shoots it anywhere on the left side of the goal, you guys are done for. There's no way you're going to be able to save it. Unless it's a really crappy shot, then you have a possibility of saving it. But again, always try to cover the worst case scenarios.
Right.
Nice clear. There we go. Beautiful finish there, right, teammate. There we go, nice demo. And you arise from the smoke. Like Batman, yeah. It was very nice. The smoke covered you completely. The opponent had no chance to save that. Very nice finish. Nice patience. Same recommendation, try not flipping. If you really afraid it's gonna hit over your head, you can single jump. Nice save there. And there we go, that should be game. There we go, GG's. So, you got any questions, anything you wanna ask me?
Not really. You kind of explained everything quite well.
Hope, yeah, that's good. I was gonna say, hopefully I was able to explain things well. I would just say keep in mind the most like things I saw repeated is try to you have decent aerial mechanics, so what I would like to see more of you is try to improve your flicking. So I don't think I saw you flick this game. I don't remember seeing you flicking. So try to, like, if you could play more ones. You don't necessarily need to, but it would be better if you want to improve your ground game. So
Yep.
for example, there you had a lot of chances to score using a flick. You scored one goal, I think, from bounce dribbling, if I'm not mistaken. But you had like 3-4 opportunities there that you could have just controlled it, right? So soft touches, not flipping, single jumping into it. After you get a soft touch, after you control it, you can go for a flick or a pass, up to you, whatever you want to do. You can also go for an aerial play, but the ground plays are the safest thing, right? Because aerial mechanics or aerial plays, whatever shape or form, you need a lot of boost. Like you need 80 boost to do any aerial play, no matter how mechanical you are, right? You need, I would say, average of 50 or 60 boost. While for a flick, you need a maximum of 12 boost. That's it. You don't need any more, and you could still flick a ball really well if you have 0 boost. Anyways, try to just focus on your ground game generally as much as you can. I would say on your control, so soft touch, and then your flicks. Okay. And secondly, I would say be very careful challenging as last man. Okay, try to keep it in your head before you queue up in a casual in a ranked game, whatever. Try to be like, okay, I will not challenge if I'm last man. With only you have one exception. you can challenge the ball as last man if you're 100% sure you're going to win it. If you have a single shot of doubt that you're going to lose a challenge, that this is too risky, that you might lose this challenge, shadow the play. Wait for your teammate to get back, and then you can challenge, no problem. And lastly, I would say try to focus on your kickoffs as much as you can from early, because later on you will concede a lot of goals just because of your kickoff. Okay, so here you're kind of getting away with it because your teammate's kickoff is not that good and the opponent's teammate kickoffs are not that good, so you get away with it, so you don't see the damage, you don't see the consequences. Okay, so yeah, these are the 3 pointers I would say you need to focus on.